because of yung nakwento ko kanina that we were using an old model, the old Proximins test, marami talaga na disenfranchise. But kung titignan niyo yung trail ng mga grievances, yun ang suma total. Inalis kami nang hindi pa dapat kami inaalis, kaya hindi mo namin natanggap yung grants. Pero nung nalinis na, napulido na yung listahan, these are, the normal grievances now are operational in nature. Pasulpot-sulpot ho siya, walang one generic na nature. Iba-iba ho, minsan misappreciation. Akala niya nag-comply siya, pero yung documentation niya hindi naman ho kompleto. But I want to assure the committee that foreign multilateral agencies that help us run this program, like World Bank, has given us a stronger program for grievance. The grievance mechanism in this 4-piece program is very strong, so nakakatanggap po kagad kami and we can address these operational complaints regularly. Pangalawa po, in inclusion-exclusion error, meron pa ho yan, and the only reason why we cannot move on it is, as we well know, yung CBMS has already got it come into law, in effect, wala na ho kaming listahan na pagtutunan. So meron ho kaming mga nag-aantay na maipasok, pero because we can no longer use listahanan, rightfully so, dahil 2019 pa yan, hindi na namin ho kami makapag-entertain ng mga bago. Kaya nga, sa Philippine Development Plan, it should be 4.4 million household, pero right now, 3 million lang ho tayo. We're in receipt of the first portions of CBMS. We're still waiting for its full completion within the month. After which, we will do a name check to make sure na walang ma-disenfranchise na hindi naman karapat-dapat. PSA and us, we agreed on that portion. What other enhancements have we done? Madam Chair, we mentioned na ang problema ng 4-piece, if I can be very candid, is they're a set of 14 software. Over the years, I think every secretary who's good-natured will try to streamline things. Sabi niya, dagdagan na, i-automate natin to. Ang nangyari ho is a hodgepodge of 14 software that do not talk to each other. So ang nangyayari, from compliance, from verification, entry, all the way to grievance, upload, you download, you encode. You upload, you download, you encode. That's why it takes almost 60 to 75 days to get your grant. What have we done so far? We've working with the World Bank, kasi remember, meron ho ako nabanggit kanina, yung first, the foreign assisted na loan, na natapos na. Part of that is service delivery. So we are working with them to re-engineer the entire process, to make sure that the system is seamless from the time you register all the way to from the time you graduate out, including the case management tool. Right now kasi yung case management tool, which is the heart and soul of it, naka-tablet ho siya, pero hindi rin siya nag-uusap doon sa ibang software namin. So by summer of next year, tapos na ho itong re-engineering and streamlining. So that should give us ang mandate namin sa sarili namin is same month paying of grant. That's the order that we want. Kasi grant ho to ng mahihirap they shouldn't be waiting for 60 to 75 days. Pero it's a big system kasi, so that's why we had to commission muna a systems re-engineer and then at the same time a software re-engineering group. But by summer of next year, tapos na ho yan. This should help, one, our case managers in administering the program. Number two, to avoid delays in grants, kasi nga, bakit mag-aantay ng 75 days? And pangatlo, really we can say that it will be fully automated. Kasi ngayon, sinasabi namin automated, may tablet yung mga case manager, may laptop, pero hindi naman nagagamit to its full extent.
Maraming salamat, Sec. So we look forward that same time next year, nabawasan na or wala na itong mga complaints dahil dun sa makover na ng CBMS yung buong 4.4 million, hindi lamang 3 million, and then down through the currently 14 software, mas na integrate na ala CBMS at the very start.
If I can just add, and I think that this is something that will come to fore, a big complaint ng beneficiaries namin in DepEd is DepEd's made to do the compliance for our beneficiaries. The teachers are supposed to do that, and they did send Secretary Sunny and I are agreeing na hindi nila responsibilidad dapat yan kasi kumakain sa teaching time. So part of the systems re-engineering is a beneficiary-driven compliance system na baka during the initial ideas during the family development session. Doon na nila ipapakita in attendance, and then it's the case manager who should be uploading these requirements. Kasi right now, it's a burden for our DepEd educators. They've said it so many times na matakaw sa oras nila itong 4-piece compliance namin, which sa mata naman ng beneficiaries, tumatagal kasi nga maraming ginagawa si ma'am, hindi lang naman ho ito. So, isa yun sa gusto namin ma-solve. Hopefully, by next summer, we'll have a concrete solution on the business process and on the software side.
Salamat po, Secretary. Now, Madam Chair, on the 4-piece cash grant sufficiency, noong 2019, 31,000 pesos ang maximum cash grant na matatanggap ng 4-piece annually. Pero dahil sa inflation, 14,000 pesos na lang ang halaga nito kumpara sa 2013 value, 14,000 na lang ang halaga nito noong 2023, 2 years ago. Maraming kabataan na estudyante na dapat sana'y nag-aaral sa high school ang nagtatrabaho na at kumikita ng 4,500 to 6,000 pesos monthly. Sa kahirapan ng buhay, mas pipiliin na lang na magtrabaho mga kabataan kaysa manatili sa eskwelahan. So may analytical study ba ang DSWD kung ano ang mga kasalukuyang cash grants, kung ito ay sapat, halimbawa para hindi na mag-drop out ang ating mga 4-piece youth at mas piliin na magtrabaho?
So that's very, very correct. Pagtitignan niyo yung data, and this is driven by ADB actually, pagdating sa elementary school, near universal, both for 4-piece and non-4-piece families. Pagdating sa junior high school, for 4-piece beneficiaries, 84% of them stay sa junior high school compared to 78% for non-4-piece families. So, we're ahead but not significantly. But you will see na pagdating nila sa senior high school, both significantly drops. Pagdating sa senior high school for 4-piece, though it's ahead of non-4-piece, 52% stays sa senior high school and 47% sa non-4-piece family. Now, we will submit to this committee a study that we have worked on. We in fact showed it to the President, and the President early on said, talagang kailangan na revisitahin yung grant. There's a proposal na automatic indexing siya, but I know the economic managers do not want that because magugulo yung budgeting nila pag automatic indexing siya. So these are amendments that we plan to introduce when the 4-piece laws is revisited for all the policymakers and all the experts to look at. Madaling sabihin sa amin kasi we're the one disbursing na, sige na, automatic indexing, but if we look at it from the policy side naman, paano nila ma-forecast kung galaw ng galaw, and baka mag-shortfall na naman tayo if we make this IOU sa ating mga beneficiaries. We'll submit to the committee that finding that we have on the diminished value of our grants from now all the way to 2028 and forward. We met with the President. He agrees. He said that dapat talaga matulungan yung mga 4-piece natin. Madam Chair, I cannot say this enough. I've been going around doing a lot of talking to our 4-piece beneficiaries and case managers, Vizcaya, to the farthest off beaten tracks. And the family development session has taught our families the significance of education. Alam nila yun. In fact, ang pangarap marami sa kanila ay may makapagtapos kahit isa. And that is the vision of 4-piece, to break intergenerational poverty. Pero aminado rin sila na pagdating sa senior high school, pag pinagtrabaho yung bata, mas marami siyang kikitain compared to the grant that they are getting. So it's something that we should really revisit. Although, we're working with the TESDA also na the K-12 promise actually helps in this type of situation. Na pangit man pakinggan na dapat skills ready na sila after they're done with their junior high school. Hopefully later on meron silang enough skills, but underemployment is also another thing that we're worried about. That's why revisiting the grant is something that we are pushing for.
And in that revisiting, Madam Chair, I would encourage the DSWD to still push as far as possible that advocacy is some form of indexation to inflation. Kasi kung may ibang variables ini-index sa inflation, bakit hindi ito rin as a proven poverty alleviation program of government? And at any rate po, ano ba yung batayan ng DSWD ngayon para sabihing sufficient ang cash grants and your recommended cash grants to catch up with losses dahil sa inflation?
Madam Chair, and I would do a disservice to the people of the beneficiaries who say that it's sufficient. The department is already saying it's not sufficient. In fact, as early as late last year, early this year, we had a sit down with the President, showed him our indexing study, the one that we will submit to the committee, and he agrees. He said na kulang ho talaga. And that's why I'm not here and not going to say na sufficient ho siya.
And your recommended cash grant?
It's there in the indexing, but Madam Chair, there's a golden opportunity when we do revisit the law to look at also other factors. Like ngayon kasi attendance ang tinitignan natin. We're also studying completion ang titignan na ho natin. Kasi nga the dropout, it drops. Pagdating ng senior high school, nawawala sila almost from near universal elementary, nagiging 80s, 70s to 80s, 7 out of 10 ang junior high. Pagdating ng senior high, 50. So we lost the cohort survival rate isn't there. So PIDS has done numerous studies wherein they said na baka pag i-revisit, tignan nyo rin, is mere attendance enough? Should it be reward system when they complete? In Southern America, we were talking to ADB and their counterparts there. They were saying that in Southern America, they have completion bonuses. Wherein rather than giving them grants on the spot, tatapusin natin, tapos pag nakatapos ka, may parang completion bonus ka. There are numerous modalities. Nag-iba-iba na rin ho yung mga kasabay natin na may conditional cash transfer around the world with how they look at their programs. Also, if you look at the data, we do quite well with primary education. Pero pagdating na ho sa dulo, doon ho tayo medyo nag-weaken. And we can look into adding more weight into more premium sa senior high school, sa breakthrough when they get to later part of their education cycle.
Salamat, Secretary. Madam Chair, do you still have time or is my time up in this first round?
Honestly, I have no idea.
I was waiting for the good chair.
Listening intently because I was going to ask for your permission to make a quick interjection.
Of course, Madam Chair. I can reserve.
And then I will also ask because there's only
Yes.
Senator Marcoleta, and I'm sure the chairperson, he'll stay with me to the end. I'm known to lead these hearings.
Apo.
So
I can reserve my questions for the first 1,000 days to the next round, Madam Chair.
you're willing to stay.
Sure. I'll come back po. I'll have to step out to the CA and then come back, Madam Chair.
To continue for as long as anyone is interested until at least 2:30.
I'll be back. Thank you, Madam Chair.
So I'll take off actually from where Senator Riza was discussing with the chairperson very quickly, no? And we've had this discussion, but I would just want to put it on record, Secretary, that in as much as we want to incentivize them staying even further and completing the senior high, we go back to what is the value of staying in senior high as far as the family or the parents are concerned, no? Na why is that dropout rate so high? So I came to the conclusion that it doesn't seem to be that much added value for them compared to completing junior high when we were discussing the last week. So on that note, I think this is important for us to have these conversations with Secretary Angara, which I've also had, because most likely these people living in extreme poverty, and by all means show us the data, they're probably those really in poverty-stricken areas in general, in regions. Siyempre, mas marami sila doon. Of course, you can find poverty everywhere, but I'm guessing na mas marami sila doon. And my question is, what is the quality of senior high there? So what is the value na magdagdag pa sila ng 2 taon na baka the programs in senior high, they don't even see, yung anak ni ganyan, nag-graduate ng senior high, ano bang pinagkaiba? Wala naman. Ano ba mga trabaho na meron doon? Wala namang pinagkaiba yung requirement na mag-senior high at mag-junior high. Pare-pareho namang it's manual labor that doesn't value the additional 2 years you put in school. So I think this is a more comprehensive discussion we can have, and maybe EDCOM has a few more insights on this. Anyway, I'm just putting that on record. You can, if you want to give a quick response.
Madam Chair, I agree. And as I mentioned, may golden opportunity tayo because the law is quite old and we have to look at it as well as its implementing rules on how we can leverage 4Ps nga to attain our goal of breaking intergenerational poverty and to synchronize it with the vision of K-12.
you might be able to achieve this, but if the senior high programs don't level up, which I know it's very clearly documented in all the 2 years that we've been working on EDCOM. There's so much more we can do for senior high programs. Yeah. Okay. Let's give the floor now to Senator Marcoleta.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, Madam Chair.